Okay, the trapezoid, which I believe on the ACT, trapezoid and triangles are the most popular. All right, so here is half times height times base plus base. Okay, this is the formula I use. I just add the two bases, times it by height, and cut it all by 2. What are the bases? The bases are always the parallel lines. And the height is that line that makes perpendicular with both. All right, so here's an example when we have all sides filled in. We don't have a height. These are not heights. This is a height. Okay, so what I do is I make squares or rectangles and triangles. So I got a square or rectangle here, and then I have a triangle on the outside. So what my process is opposite sides are equal. Now I have a 10, I have a 4, that means 6 is left over, and these two pieces on the outside have to be equal. So that means I have a Pythagorean triple. So my area is 4 plus 10 is 14 times height, which we said was 4, and cut that in half. So that area is 28. All right, so here is the two bases on this one, and our height is here. All right, guys, you see that 60 there? You know it's got to be important. So here is our process. Remember, this piece has got to be 12, and this bottom piece has to be 2, and that is a little leg on this 30, 60, 90. So this is the big leg. I multiply it by radical 3. Okay, so my two bases, which you will add, all right, then you will multiply it by our 2 radical 3, and then you'll divide it by 2. So that's the things we need to plug into the formula. All right, so here is one here. We have 2 parallel lines. That's the base. Sometimes they can be so easy, they're tricky. They give you the height. So all you gotta do is add our bases and get 18, times it by 8, and then cut it in half. Here, every time we see that 30 or 60 or 45, we need to know how to use it. Okay, so there is that. Remember, if I'm going too fast, pause it. Okay, so we got 30 down here from the top 30 in my rectangle opposite sides. Okay, so 54 minus 30, I'll have 24. Well, this is weird. Well, let's see. This has to be 6. This has to be 6. And this is a little leg, so this has to be 6 radical 3. So maybe I didn't label this correctly. All right, so that's okay. Moving on anyway. So I got a 30, 54. There are my two bases. Add them together. Then you will give me the height. So 54 plus 30 times 6 radical 3, and don't forget to divide it by 2. So here's some to try. Okay, so try these two. I'm going to pause it, or you pause it. Give me your best shot, and I'll go over the answer. Okay, so this is not too similar to the ones I've already gone over. So check this out. All right, so this is a 45, 45, 90. So you have your height. But it's important that you put that 18 down here. Okay? So, this 18 right here, I'm taking it away from this 43 because I need this section right here. So that's going to be 18 plus what is 43. So this piece has to be 25. And that's where I get this 25. So I have a top base. Don't forget the lower base is still 43. I'm adding them, multiplying it to 18, and then cutting all that in half. Number two, this is pretty similar to what we've seen already. So what I've done is put that 20 down here. So I have this section of the bottom. I recognize this as a 30, 60, 90. Okay, so I'm going over here. Now I don't have enough labeled over here. So I do have a 12. That's a hypo. This is a little leg, so I'm going 6. And then I have a big leg, which has got to be 6 radical 3. All right, so I have to be careful here. That bottom base is not 20. I have to add the 2 6s. So the bottom base is 32. Add it to the top base of 20. Times it by the height, and then cut it in half. So be careful on problems like that. All right, try this one. Pause it, and then come back. Okay, so what I did is I saw special right triangle. I got a 5. I got a 5. Therefore, this has to be what plus 5 is 20. That's going to be a 15. This is the top opposite side. And I have base. 20 is the base. Look at it. It's not 20 plus 5 to make 25. That's the base. So 20 plus 15 times it by your height. Cut it in half. So this is what I did right here. All right, that's a trapezoid.